came out with data and evidence showing why therapeutic cloning is beneficial to our society. But they also failed to mention why it is really necessary for the government to be the one to fund it, and forgot to mention how there are other resources as well to fund the government, as well as other research that will give the benefits that they have stated. And also, to clarify, one of the things they earlier said that 15 states banned the cloning. It is actually through the CNN human cloning article. It said that legally there's very little to stop scientists from cloning. In January 2002, the National Academy of Sciences recommended a ban of human cloning, but only 4 states, California, Michigan, Louisiana, and Rhode Island, actually banned any type of cloning research. And they also stated that most schools were funded by federal government, but it does not mean that those private institutions cannot fund the research. For example, through Harvard funds human cloning, from LA Times, it said the scientists at Harvard University were awarded ethical approval and private funds to pursue therapeutic cloning experiments, and thus they used, and through their $27 billion, they used $14 billion, which makes it one of the best sources for funding the experiment. And as my partner stated, there are also more risks involved. There's more risk, and also many of the own animal cloners do not think human cloning is right. For example, William, the Scottish researcher who successfully cloned the first animal, Dolly, the sheep, in 1997, disapproves of human cloning. It is not responsible at this stage to even consider the cloning of humans, he stated. And the reason being that because it took 276 failed attempts to successfully create Dolly. And thus questions, are we really willing to take this risk? And then another cloner by the name Genesi said that even if human clones appear healthy, it may not be once it gets older. Cloning a human at this point, he said, without knowing more about things can go wrong, is essentially using humans as guinea pigs, and one shouldn't do this. Also, cloning is too expensive to be part of a medically available therapy. Dr. Wise Young of Rutgers is a well-known CSI researcher who supported all scientifically valid new medicines, including cloning. If we do cloning, it is too expensive, and thus it wastes our resources. And why do it when there's other stem cells that already fit in our DNA needs? Which goes back to my second point, that there are other resources other than therapeutic cloning, such as adult cell research. Adult stem cells or more accurately tissue stem cells, are generatively cells of the human body that possesses the characteristics of plasticity, the ability to specialize and develop into other tissues of the body, beginning in an unspecialized and undeveloped state. They can be caused to become hard tissues, neutral matters, skin cells, and a host of other tissues. They are found in our own organs and tissues such as fat, bone marrow, umbilical cord, blood, placenta, neutral soldiers, and as well as olfactory tissue. So with these cells and the adult stem cells is actually already being funded, not by the government, but it's already there, and it gives as many benefits as therapeutic stem cell research would. And the federal government is also funding other research, other sources. As President Bush stated in an article called "President Discusses Stem Cell Research," He said that as a result of private research, more than 60 genetically diverse stem cell lines already exist. They were created from embryos that have already been destroyed, and they have the ability to regenerate themselves indefinitely, creating ongoing opportunities for research. He said that I have concluded that we should allow federal funds to be used for research on these existing stem cell lines where the lives and death decisions has already been made. And then he also stated that the leading scientists, he also stated that there is consideration on the subject. That he stated that I will also name a President's Council to monitor stem cell research, to recommend appropriate guidelines and regulations, and to consider all of the medical and ethical ramifications of biomedical innovation. This council will consist of leading scientists, doctors, ethics, lawyers, serologists, and others, and will be chaired by Dr. Leanne Kant, a leading biomedical ethicist from the University of Chicago. Thus, with this, I will show you that there are other resources other than therapeutic stem cell research, and thus federal government does not need to be funded or legalized for it to be funded.